to the Kings here. So KD, we talked about it yesterday. He is
They fixed my camera.
Staying in Brooklyn. There we go.
There we go.
Miracles can happen. So KD is staying in Brooklyn. And of course, we kind of entertained the idea yesterday, Ramie, of both the Kings maybe making a move, because the theory is that things have opened up now. Like KD was kind of holding the NBA hostage because there were so many teams involved in the talks, either as a direct link to KD or a third team or fourth team. I saw Shams Charania say on the Rich Eisen show today that, from what he's heard, the best offer the Nets received was actually from Boston, and that was the Jaylen Brown, Derek White first-round pick offer, which I think tells you there just weren't a lot of teams offering legitimate packages for Kevin Durant.
Blows my mind. That still blows my mind.
I think most of these teams that have been held, quote-unquote, hostage were as third or fourth teams, because it seems like there weren't too many direct back-and-forth conversations that were meaningful. But now you kind of move on to Donovan Mitchell, because if KD's staying in Brooklyn, Kyrie is going to stay in Brooklyn. So the next name on the list that really gets any kind of attention is Donovan Mitchell. And I saw this note yesterday, couple of notes here.
I love rumors.
Yes, I love rumors. So the New York Post writing about what's going on here with KD and Mitchell, and they jump in and they say, well, Danny Ainge is telling confidants that
oh man, it's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite things in sports, what you're about to say. Go ahead, say it.
The mystery team.
Oh, buddy. Do I love a mystery team?
You love a good mystery team.
When the front office is trying to unload a guy and suddenly a mystery team. Well, but here, not just one, Nick.
What's better than one mystery team?
Two mystery teams.
Oh,
man.
And Mark Berman of the New York Post.
Who could it be?
Wrote that there are two mystery teams. Now, Sam Amico might have spoiled one of the mystery teams, because he's reporting that the Cavs are interested in Donovan Mitchell. So if the Cavs are interested in Donovan Mitchell, it kind of makes sense. They have Colin Sexton, who's still kind of just floating around without much of a gig right now, a guy who, can score buckets. Maybe he'd be part of it. But, the Cavs are apparently at least one team that's interested. This, of course, we need to mention, could be posturing from Ainge. Ainge is a
you think?
Oh, wait, he's a legend when it comes to the posturing game.
Throw that out there for posturing.
But could the Kings, Ramie, be one of these mystery teams involved with Donovan Mitchell?
I think they could, just because they've been so aggressive this offseason and seemed so dead set on making it to the postseason. That's the only reason why I think that they could be. And I mean, what does mystery team mean? How seriously did they inquire? What is their interest? Does it go any farther than going, hey, what would you want for Donovan Mitchell? I would guess the Sacramento Kings at least went that far. Wouldn't you think so?
I mean, I think the Kings would absolutely place a call, just because, this idea of either getting Mitchell and thinking that it's an upgrade, or being a part of a bigger trade. Like I just talked about with KD, a third or a fourth team. Are you jumping in to try to grab a piece? Don't forget, Cleveland, that's how they got Jared Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Allen was a throw-in. I mean, a major, major mistake by Sean Marks in that Nets front office. I remember talking about it in Virginia Beach at the time when it happened. I said, I can't believe Jared Allen went to Cleveland for like nothing. That is a huge steal for the Cavs. Yep. And so you can always kind of jump into these deals and maybe find a piece and not have to give up much. I don't see the Mitchell Kings thing happening.
Would you want it to happen?
Well, I would want it to happen if certain things were kind of a domino effect, and you could kind of, move on from certain people and make sure that Mitchell is playing the role that he wants to play. And, with Fox and Mitchell, that backcourt is very small. You could survive. But does Mitchell want to play defense? There's a lot of questions about.
That's a question about the whole roster right now, though. Do they want to play defense?
I mean, I think you got some guys. I mean, Herter can play defense. Keegan Murray can play defense. Barnes is okay defensively. I think they have some guys who can play some defense. But I don't think De'Aaron Fox would coexist with Mitchell. Like if you're, and I don't think he would want to. we read all the stuff from Tyrese Halliburton,
I was just
right?
going to say, is this Tyrese Halliburton all over again?
The Halliburton stuff didn't work out. People wanted Davion Mitchell, Hallie, and Fox to like coexist and have like a yah-yah brotherhood, a kumbaya moment and be able to hang out and have 3 guards on the team and everything was going to be perfect. Well, we found out, right? Fox wasn't comfortable with Halliburton on the team. Mm-hmm. He played much better when Hallie was out. Halliburton just spoke over the past few days saying that, I'm able to play my natural position. If you bring in Mitchell, Mitchell wants the basketball in his hands. And I just think you're getting back to some of those issues and possible fractures between Fox and what he does and what he wants to do.
You might be inviting that same logjam effect.
Maybe even worse because
maybe worse.
Donovan is much more of a
established
dominating personality than Hallie.
Yeah.
Like Hallie, when you watch him and you listen to him, he seems like a guy who, even if he's not thrilled, he'll be able to go along with it. Now, forever, I don't know. But he was willing to kind of go along with it when he was here. Mitchell, he might not be that kind of guy. And I also think Ainge wants 1 billion draft picks. So the only way I could see the Kings getting involved is if they were part of a 3 or 4 team trade and you're able to kind of send pieces out and get some picks and then, pivot and send those picks to Utah. It would be a very difficult trade, I believe, for the Kings to pull off to bring Mitchell here.
Just very quickly before the break, a couple of weeks ago when you were out, this popped up in the Athletic, 6 teams, and they're all in offers for Donovan Mitchell. This was the Kings offer. Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Davion Mitchell, 3 first-round picks, a first-round swap in 27, first-round pick unprotected in 28, first-round swap in 29. Are you doing that?
3 first-round picks, Davion Mitchell, swaps. And what else?
2 of them are swaps. Yep. Davion Mitchell, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that.
I don't think I would either.
I don't think I'm doing that.
It's a lot to give up.
So I just, I think it's a really tough trade to pull off. I don't feel great about the Fox-Mitchell combination and how they would kind of get along and whether or not it'd be a problem. And it's also very risky trading with Danny Ainge because when dude pulls off a trade, he usually wins. He usually gets a lot. I don't know how he does it, but he's done it multiple times in his past, and he just did it with Minnesota. So I'd be concerned about that as well. 916-339-1140 is a text line. Do you think the Kings could be a mystery team? I'm like Ramie. I think they could place a call, but